Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back.
It's another one. I say another one. That's another one in 10 years. It's the return of the biased review with me. I was gonna say me, Andy, and Dan. With Andy and Dan. Yes.
Yes. Welcome back to the biased review series.
Yes. Where, if you didn't know, we sit down and basically gush over our favourite games. That's the gist of it.
We're not here to be critical, we're here to be biased.
Yes.
So sit down, get some popcorn, and straddle up.
Some popcorn.
I was going to say tea, but I was like, no, I don't like tea. So
yeah, well, it's not all about you, Andrew. Dip your popcorn in your tea and sit back.
It is now, it's a biased review. I'm reviewing popcorn.
I'm just really biased against tea. So yeah, today, Andrew, we're going to talk about one of your favourite games, and well, one of mine too, but yours especially.
Oh yeah, it's like my jam.
It literally is a jam-based substance in Andrew's life.
I literally made it into jam and sold it.
And just spread it on the toast of your face. What?
Yes.
Sure. What are we doing today, Andrew?
We're going to be talking about Rogue Galaxy.
That's right, it's not a big secret because you've already seen the intro. Today,
yes.
do for the end of the game. Yeah, we're doing Rogue Galaxy.
Yeah.
Andrew, what are your first impressions of this?
My first impressions of the game were like, oh, I remember being sat in the other room.
Yeah.
When the PC was in there, like years ago, and I was like looking at like random gameplay of it and being like, wow, this is fantastic. And then that was probably back in like 2005.
Yeah. God.
And we were like, oh, and it was in Japanese, and I just remember it being in the factory that you go to in the game. And I was like, oh, and then we looked at the website, and I was like, I really like the look of this. This is very interesting. I can't wait to learn more about this. And then I didn't.
For a few years.
For a few years, I didn't learn anything about it, because we just knew about it. And then they were like, oh, it's coming out, by the way.
Yeah. It's like, by the way, it's coming out soon. It's like, what is? Oh, that. I forgot about it.
Yeah. It's like, I completely forgot about it, and then we played it, and we were like, oh.
Bloody hell. It was like...
Bloody hell.
Because the PS2 had sort of gone through sort of a cell-shaded period earlier on, which I sort of missed out on. And then sort of towards the end of its life, we got like Dragon Quest VIII, and then this like later on. And I was like, oh, these games look amazing. I love to look at these games.
Okami and stuff.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, these games are beautiful. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as you, because we sort of got it at the same time, didn't we?
Yeah, we got it on the same day. We went all the way to Macclesfield to get it.
Tell you it was another one of those pain in the ass games to get, because it was like, because it was released here like super late. It was hard to get.
Yeah.
It was because it hadn't been promoted at all. Because it was the end of PS2's life.
It was end of PS2 life cycle. We didn't have any game shops in our town.
No.
So we had to go to another town to get it.
And it came out like right around the same time as Final Fantasy XII. So it was like really overshadowed. It was really overshadowed by that.
It was like, I think we'll get into that, but like I think I remember 12 coming out. When did 12 come out? Was it 12 the year before?
Possibly, yeah. It was quite close. It was like within a year, I reckon.
Yeah.
Of each other, so it was like everyone was sort of like paying more attention to that.
Oh, it was early 2007.
Yeah.
Can't remember exactly.
So no, 12 was delayed.
Yes, it was, yeah. We're not here to talk about Final Fantasy XII, Dan.
No! How dare you?
Wait for our bias review on Final Fantasy XII. Coming soon. Probably not.
No, not soon. Yeah, my first... I don't know, I remember... this is specifically about the game, but I remember I couldn't play it for ages, because just as I got it, my PS2 broke. It stopped reading discs.
Yes, I remember. And you were like, oh, can I test it on yours to see if it works? And it turned out it was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was the disc, and then I realised it's just the laser or something in my PS2 had gone. Right, it's like the last...
Wasn't it like you had the wrong type of PS2 or something?
I don't know, that's what I thought, because it'd play some games, but it wouldn't play like newer ones. And I say newer, I mean like the latest ones for some reason. So I had to get like the slim PS2 second hand from like Blockbuster or something.
Oh, yeah.
Just so it could play. the last few games on PS2 were coming out. I was, for God's sake. So I had to wait a bit.
Yeah.
It's really annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was blown away by it. It was really good. It's because we haven't really played action RPGs before. We've mainly like Final Fantasy and stuff. And I guess 12 was more actiony.
Yeah, but it still had that turn-based element.
You weren't hacking and slashing.
No, they just did what they were going to do. If you select attack, they were going to attack and stuff. Like, you didn't have to mash attack.
So I guess this time period was also sort of like branching out from your traditional Final Fantasy battle styles.
Yeah.
That we were used to with this and 12.
Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts. Yeah. But yeah, Andrew, let's discuss the outline of the game. What's the gist of it? What's the gist of it?
Well, well, first of all, it was created by Level 5, who have done stuff like Ni no Kuni, 1 and 2. They also did White Knight Chronicles, they did Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle.
They did Dragon Quest VIII as well.
Oh, they did do Dragon Quest VIII.
I think that's the first one of their games I've played.
Yeah. And as Dan said earlier, it came out towards the end of the PS2's life cycle. It was like December 2005 in Japan.
It's confused
January 2007 in the US. And then we had to wait till September of 2007.
We didn't get it for ages.
That was that stupid period where they were like, oh, let's release it in Japan, then we'll move it to America, then we'll do Europe.
Yeah.
That was really annoying because we'd be like there waiting for ages, like when when Pokemon games came out. We just like knew everything about him by that point.
Yeah.
It was like
fuck. It's annoying.
So the overall premise of the game is like you are a pirate.
Yes.
That goes into space to find.
It's a big old swashbuckling space adventure, isn't it?
Yeah, and you're basically going off to find the ultimate treasure. That's basically like the general idea of the game. But there's so many twists and turns along the way.
It's also, it's quite funny how similar this is as well. Very inspired by Star Wars.
Yes.
Even more inspired than 12 was.
Yeah, and in 12 was just like basically literally Star Wars the game.
12 was like the blueprint of Star Wars. This is like, okay, we're just going to do Star Wars.
Yeah.
Literal spacefaring adventure on a pirate ship.
You'll even start off on a desert planet.
Yeah. Apparently in the agricultural sector, although he's like a hunter.
Yeah. I don't know, like it never says what he does, but I just assume that he was always a hunter because...
Well, he's a hunter who works in the agricultural sector.
Yeah.
According to...
and then there's like... we'll get more into it with the story and stuff, but then there's like... The planet he's from is under occupation, basically.
Yeah.
By the
Empire. I mean,
the Longardian Empire. I think it's actually called the Longardian Empire.
Longardian Leviosa.
Is it the Longardian Empire, or did I just make that up? Longardian Federation. Same thing.
Fair enough. Also, I've got a really cool fact. Apparently, Rogue Galaxy was rumored to be Dark Cloud free for a long time. And,
I can see that.
Yeah. And apparently it might have even became Rogue Galaxy after some changes in development.
Oh. And fun fact, in the game you can get the eponymous Dark Cloud.
The eponymous Dark Cloud.
You get it like for someone.
Yeah.
And I was like, aha.
One of the many amazing characters we sure talk about.
Yes. Shh, not till the character section.
So that's all later. Andrew, how do play this game?
Oh, right, here we go.
The gameplay.
So as we said, you start off on a desert planet named Rosa.
Yes. That always confused me, I don't know why. It just doesn't seem like the name of a desert planet. No,
it doesn't. I think that was the idea though, because it was supposed to be like contradictory.
Yeah, because you think like jungle or something. Or like some with gardens.
And the whole idea is that you go around these different planets and you exploring them in order to find clues to get you to Eden, as they call it, throughout the game. And you become part of a crew in order to visit these different planets, and like you're sent out on all these different missions.
Yeah.
And there's 12. The place is called the Wilhurster system, which I completely forgot about.
Yeah.
There are 12 planets in it, according to one of the characters, but you don't get to visit all 12.
I was going to say, I can't remember there being 12.
No, but in the system itself, like in the solar system, it's like there are 12 apparently.
Yeah.
In the not the solar system, but you know what I mean. But you go to Rosa, the desert planet, Jaraika, the jungle planet, Zarad, which is basically Coruscant.
Yeah, it's the city planet.
Vidan, which is it's like mines and it's kind of run down and run by gangsters.
Yeah.
You go to Elysia, but that's like a bonus planet, and that's like a seaside seaside planet. Oh my god! Like when Daniel puts some of that up on screen, Jesus
you'll
Christ.
see some real good times with
that. There's also Mariglen, which is the last place you go to, which is Eden, basically. And then there's the Rose Nebula and the Ghost Ship. But the Rose Nebula you just visit, and there's like 1 or 2 things you can do. Then the Ghost Ship is like a bonus post-game thing.
Yeah, that's really cool, actually. But yeah, Andrew, the gameplay itself.
The gameplay
it's a hack and
is
slash,
all action.
But
it's all action-based, yeah.
It's all action, baby.
All action-based combat system. There's actually, interestingly, there are no healing abilities in the game.
No, it relies on items.
It relies on items, so you better stock up.
You better shut your mouth. Grab a potion. Yeah.
So in battle, every character has a main weapon and a sub weapon. And they're all unique to each character. And mostly it is a melee weapon as their main, and then the sub weapon is a ranged one. But two characters, one character has 2 melee weapons. One character has a ranged weapon as their main, and then the sub weapon as their melee. And then another has, I think he just has 2 ranged.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. And yeah, for your sub weapon, at least with like most of the characters, you can only use them a certain amount of times in battle.
Yeah, before you like have to recharge and stuff.
And then like after a certain number of like times of the recharge, they'll basically like overheat, and you can't use it for the rest of the battle.
Yeah, such from spam.
Apart from boss fights.
Yeah.
And you have a stamina gauge that it's like right above your character's health, because you'll have the characters at the bottom, and there's a stamina gauge above it, and it'll start depleting, and then once that's depleted, it has to recharge, but you can, if you block and get hit, it will instantly recharge.
Yeah, which is cool.
If you use an ability, then like an all-out attacking ability, it will completely deplete your stamina gauge, but then it recovers really quick. If you basically get like a mod on your weapon, so like one of the characters, he can put like lightning into his sword as an ability, like that won't deplete the stamina gauge.
Yeah.
But I think it uses more stamina when you do attack and stuff. So it's like, it's very interesting, and like as you're running around, all of a sudden it'll come up on the screen like warning, and then all these enemies start popping up.
Yeah, it's what you call it, there's no monster on the overworld, it's random encounters.
Yeah, it's all random encounters, but it's all action based. And there's like items that appear in the battle, like objects that appear in the battle, and you can pick them up and you throw them at them. Yeah,
that's cool, I did like that.
And so some enemies, you have to be very specific in how you kill them. They're not all just like, oh, we'll go up to it and hack it and slash it.
Yeah, you have to, that's like the range attacks and the weapons come in, because you have to sort of utilize one to sort of take down another to then attack it normally, sort of thing.
Yeah, like one might have a shield up, so you have to hold the attack button down and spin attack it, and it'll break the shield. But some have like a magic barrier around them, and you have to shoot the magic barrier away.
Yeah.
Or some of them you can only hit them at a specific point, so you might have to jump up and like attack their head, sort of thing.
Yeah, you have to like target like apart from.
There's a lot of really hard enemies in the game. Like, we'll go over the difficulty later, but like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's really cool how it sort of, because it basically is you like standard up like RPG, JRPG, but like you really it like did a really good job of making the battle system really unique. Sort of like it's very sort of action based, but it's still an RPG.
Yeah,
and like they make it really clever with it.
There's so many things you can do in the game as well. There's like so many side quests and so many things you can collect. In order to unlock abilities in the game, every character has a revelation flow.
I just say that in English because that means nothing.
So you gather items and then you put the items into the grid.
Oh yeah, because the items in the game are all it's like it's sort of like a Final Fantasy XIII in a way, which seems to focus around items for character growth and sort of customization.
Yeah.
This same with Rogue Galaxy, where obviously items are like how you heal, but also like collecting different treasures and stuff. So it's like a pirate game. It's based on like things you find that you use them. Unlock abilities for them on the board.
Yeah, like you get like numerous different things, and then they can level up as well. So you might get level 1 version of this ability, and then get level 2 of it if you continue adding items. But certain items are only available in like from specific chapters onwards. So you might unlock an ability and you can't get the item for like 3 chapters or something.
Yeah.
And then it's a rare drop.
It's their way of sort of pacing it. See it super overpowered really early.
And you can get like double and triple text with different characters as well.
Yeah, when you sort of
by doing it.
Do combos.
But you had to be really careful with the items, because like you could get a whole bunch of items early in the game, but then when you get the factory, which is the next point I'm going to make.
Yeah.
You use that to craft items, and you might need some of the items that you put in the revelation flow to do it. So it's like you got to be like balanced with it.
Yeah, you got to try and think what you're gonna like prioritize in the game.
Yeah.
The
factory.
The revelation flow is like it's basically like a sphere grid from 10. But
yeah,
like
but instead of putting spheres, you put items.
Yeah. Yeah, the factory. I'm to go on.
The factory. I love the factory.
I only vaguely remember the factory.
You basically. You get the factory given to you after a certain story point, and you use it to like say to craft items, but you have to build the setup for it.
Yeah, that's it.
It'll give you a blueprint for the item, but you have to set it up. So you have to put all the machine parts in. You have to plug them all in.
Yeah.
And every item within it has to reach the same point at the same time.
That was
and
it.
Each segment of the factory, or like the line, has like a number on it, and certain pieces of machinery, like say like every pipe has a count of 1, but then one piece of machinery might have 4, and then the one on the other side might have 5, because it's always like at least two items that come down and then they fuse together to make the item. But you have to do like specific things, so you might have to like grind it up if it's a gem, or you might have to melt it and then cool it if it's a piece of metal.
Yeah. Basically, basically like the puzzle games we made, Andrew.
Yeah, it was. It literally was. But better.
Somehow better.
But somehow not based on handy chaps.
Yes. So that was really cool.
It was, and you literally had to like plug everything in. It was really intense to set up.
Yeah.
Especially later on, where there'd be like 3 items going into one section, but then off to the side there was another item coming in, doing its own thing, and it had to fuse down at the bottom. So you had to make sure that you had to fuse the 3 items together at the start, and then they would take like however long they would take after smelting them or like grinding them or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had to reach it at the same point as the other one that's only had like one path to go down. So then you had to count everything there. It was really confusing, but it was so good.
Yeah. It's a lot. You'll see on screen.
Yeah.
It's hard to, it's like, it's one of those things you can explain, but until you see it, you're kind of like, oh, I know.
Yeah, like, it doesn't, like, what we're saying, like, it doesn't really do injustice to, like, what actually happening on screen.
You need to see it to believe it.
Yeah.
Also, like, with the combat, I was going to say, it's one of those ones where you control one character, and you can sort of give orders to your allies, but you can also swap which character you're controlling. Yeah,
in battle or out of battle, you can switch to whoever you want. You can switch your leader outside of battle by pressing like the L3 button, and it'll switch between the 3 characters you have on your team.
Yeah.
But then, as Dan said, like in battle, they will randomly say if you're playing as the main character and you're slashing and hacking away, all of a sudden they will come up with 2 suggestions, and you either press L1 or L2 depending on what you want them to do. They might be like, oh, here, have a healing potion if someone's dying. So they're not just sort of stood there attacking, doing whatever, but you could also set them to what you want to do as well. So you can tell them to do abilities and stuff, and they'll do it.
Yeah.
You have control over them as well, or you can switch to them and then let the other characters play as the AI, and then they'll suggest stuff to you. So it's a really unique way of doing it, because I don't know many games that do it. Like when you play Kingdom Hearts, Donald and Goofy they just do whatever the hell they want.
Oh god, yeah, especially in 1.
You don't give them the commands, or they don't give suggestions on what they want to do, and I really like that system.
Yeah.
Because it could be an enemy that's like weak against ice, and then one of the characters is like, oh yeah, use this ability.
I've got an ability that
ice-based.
you can use that'll be effective.
Yeah.
Which is, they're actually very useful.
Yes,
Which is both tutorial and later on when you get overwhelmed with like difficulty and stuff.
When all these enemies just start like popping up and they're all like really hard and you're getting beat to crap and they're like, oh yeah, quick, use a resurrection elixir.
Well, thank you.
Thanks. Not dead no more.
What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, the weapons, you can synthesize weapons.
Yes. Oh, right. Here we go.
Talk about Toadie.
Toadie. Oh, genius. Genius. He's a little frog. That he just joins to you. Well, he's a toad. He's not a frog.
Yeah, come on.
So that was wrong straight
Clues
away.
in the name.
And he's like we'll get into what this is in a bit, but he's been infected by something that basically made him evolve quicker.
Yeah.
And now he has the ability to fuse weapons. So he eats your weapons and spits out a new one, or spits out like an upgraded version of your weapon that you already put in there.
Yeah.
And he has the frog log. And if you scan it, he'll be like, oh, if you do this, you can fuse it with this weapon, and it'll be perfect for the frog log.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. But then you can also do other weapons that are better, or like whatever you want, and they're not part of the frog log, but you can fuse basically anything together as long as it's the same type of weapon.
Yeah.
And you basically level them up in battle.
Yeah, it's basically.
And you have to be like, you keep using the weapon in battle, and it'll level up. And then once it's leveled up, you can scan it and stuff and give it to Toadie, and he'll eat it and fuse it.
Yeah, it's basically a living alchemy pot.
Yes.
He'll eat two things and poop out a new one.
And there's so many weapons. Excuse me, so many weapons in the game.
Yeah, there's loads.
There's loads, and you can make all these like. There's like a massive list somewhere, and it's just like, oh my god, all these combinations of weapons, and then you might get like an EX version of a weapon or something, and that's different to the base version. So it's like, okay, well, I can't use that for this one, but what maybe I can fuse it with something else to do that. And you might end up using a weapon that's like really weak, like later on in the game, because it says, oh, well, if you fuse this weapon with like a level 1 weapon, you'll get this weapon.
Yeah.
And thankfully, there's a lot of collectibles in the game and stuff.
Oh, yeah, the same.
And you get given armors, and the armors or costume, they're basically costumes in this game. So every character has like 5 or 6 armors, and they actually change the appearance of the character.
Yeah, which is very cool.
But if you get 100% in a section, you get given a costume. Thankfully, you don't have to 100% the frog log.
Yes. I mean, I was going
to say, you only have to do like 50 weapons.
Side quest wise, there is a completion.
Lot.
There's like a completion log, isn't there?
Yeah.
Which shows you like all the things you can do. But yeah, the frog log is expansive, especially like when you get into post game and doing the pirate ghost shit.
Oh
like,
god,
you see all Jaster's got like so many that you can just repeatedly upgrade.
Yeah.
Obviously, he's the main character, and you're meant to sort of power him up.
He's basically like you can't take him off your team, so they give him all these weapons.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. But you can only upgrade the last one, so it's like you're basically just upgrading his one weapon further and further, and it's like, god.
Yeah. There's also one of my favorite things in the game
that I never really got into, but go on.
The Insectron tournament. And the Insectron tournament is you basically get given traps, and you set them up like just anywhere you want. And after about 5 minutes in game time, there's a chance that you'll get an Insector, and you collect them, and you battle them in a chess-style minigame.
Yeah, it's not Pokemon.
No, it's like you get like, you can take 5 Insectors on a team, and you can like put them in a chess-style minigame.
Yeah.
And they all have specific abilities and do special things, and you can upgrade, like rank them up. There's like 8 ranks of each Insector, which is basically them evolving, but you have to breed them specifically to do it. Like if you get a rank 1 and breed it with a rank 2, it will take the form of a rank 3 of the one that was the higher rank.
Yeah.
But then the other 2 disappear after they breed. So it's just like,
Yeah, it's like the Simpsons thing again.
Yeah.
Sectors.
And you have to like feed them. And you can get, I think you can get like a maximum of 15. There's like 5 cages. 3 cages, and you get 5 in each.
Yeah.
and you have to feed them different things to raise their stats. So one of them's really good at healing, so you can like up its like special sort of thing.
Yeah.
One of them's really defensive. There's basically a dung beetle, and it's kind of like Mimikyu in Pokemon, where it's like it gets a free hit before it takes damage.
Yeah.
But then it like once you rank that up, it'll start off as a dung roller, then it might be like an apple roller or a spike roller, and it gets like different balls depending on what it is. And it's hard to build the team though, because like you can set up a trap, and you get 3 different traps, and the different traps do different things. Like one's really good for just standard insectors, one's really good for catching flying insectors, one's really good for catching like ground-based ones. But it might once you do it, it'll be like, oh, you got insector this, or oh, you're not. It went into the trap but ran off with the bait.
I know.
Or
Yeah.
it looked into the trap and it didn't go in, so it's just like you little buggies, and then you have to wait.
Chance.
And then you have to wait another 5 minutes once you set them up again.
Yeah.
And in different spots you'll find different insectors, so you got to like set it up and decide which ones you want and stuff.
Yeah, you go explore all the different planets to find the best like areas to catch the best ones in.
There's some really interesting ones. There's the dung beetle, the ladybird. There's a fairy one. There's like one that looks like it's the whole thing is called like and it's just like has like an animal attached to the end of it. So it'd be like, oh, it's a horse, it's a donkey, it's a Pegasus or something. It's just like what the. There's a spider. On? There's like a pincer beetle. There's a flipper bug. It basically has like a spade on the front of it that just like flips things
like
over.
Robo Wars.
Yeah. And they just do it, and it's like interesting in like that you basically have to take out their king. And each one moves in a different way. You've got to decide which way you're going to move it and how you're going to go about it and make sure that your king is safe.
Yeah.
And your king should always be the dung roller. If you can find one.
Yeah.
So,
that's Andrew's.
I really enjoyed it. Yes.
It's one of those things
tip
like...
for a game for 2007. Yeah. Use a dung roller.
It's a tip for life. Always use a dung roller.
Yeah, like if you're not doing that on a daily basis, like what are you doing?
I was gonna say like Blitzball for me. I was really overwhelmed and I didn't really know how to do it.
Yeah,
so it's something.
It is very overwhelming
because it's just like it's so different, and you like the game gives you so many things to do, and then it's just another thing with completely unique mechanics and like gameplay. And you're like, okay, I can't do this.
Well, once I do a let's play on it, I'll show it off.
Show it off. Yeah. One more thing. There's a hunter ranking system.
Yes.
For hunting down specific enemies.
You can do for the hunter rank. You start off obviously at the very bottom, and dependent you can kill. Once you find an enemy, you can go to like the bestiary basically.
Yeah.
And it'll say kill 10 of this enemy. And you'll get hunter's points towards your hunter's rank. But then there's also quarries that are big hunts that you have to do specific things in order to find. And use a specific item to find them, and they're really hard, but they get you the most points.
Yeah.
So it's always worth doing. And then they use items that you might need for the Revelation Flow or the factory as well. So you go like, okay, well I need to keep that for this.
Yeah.
For this specific hunt.
Everything's really connected via items and what you can lock, and then you have to sort of decide which area you want to sort of focus on with them.
Yeah. So for instance, like there's on Verdan in a tunnel.
Yeah.
One of the tram tunnels, there is a gorilla that you can find, and you have to have both the female characters that you get in the game on your team, and you have to have like this magical lipstick or something in your inventory, and then it'll come out.
Yeah, I really did like that though.
Yeah.
Because it's just really obscure.
And then like another one's like, oh, it has a mirror, so you need the mirror item, or like you need to give it some food and it'll come out, or you need to have a specific character on your team because it loves to eat that species of character.
Yeah.
And it's like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
And they were really hard. Like, not all of them were. Some of them were kind of easy. But some of them were like really intense.
I remember the time limit ones.
Oh, yeah, there's like... there are specific challenges in battles as well. So you might go into a battle and it'd be like, make sure this character doesn't get hit.
I know, yeah.
Or only use this character. And you had to switch to that character and then basically tell the others to just not do anything until you won the battle.
Yeah, or using certain abilities or an item, or not using an item.
Yeah.
God
yeah,
damn
don't use an item and you're there like basically like 1 health and the other 2 characters are dead and you're like, gotta use an item.
I'm gonna bloody use a version.
So I've got no MP! Or AP, I think it was AP.
Yeah. Yeah, it was just a lot of like there's like a billion things to do.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it seemed to cover all bases. You wouldn't run out of things to do in this game, basically.
No, there was just like, there was so much going on.
It really was. Now we're going to look at the story in depth, Andrew.
Yes.
The plot.
The plot. Well.
Andrew, I've lost the plot.
Yeah, I know you have, but...
Well, anyway, on with the story.
You start the game off as Jasta Rogue, who is a young man from the desert planet Rosa,
yeah.
And he is mistaken for the legendary hunter Desert Claw.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, the Desert Claw is with you at the start of the game, but it's basically it's like, oh, who is this man? And then he gives you his sword.
Yeah.
And he basically gets Jasta off the planet. He's like, oh yeah, you're gonna go with him. I don't want to go with these people. You're gonna get off here and go.
I see ya. Yeah,
no, get off my planet, sort of thing. And he's recruited to the crew of the Dog and Goa, who is on the hunt for the planet Eden.
Yeah, he's recruiting the best
different
sort of hunters and stuff.
And you fly around on his ship, the Dorganark, which is literally a pirate ship.
Yeah, literally a space pirate ship, except it's just a pirate ship. Yeah.
And it has like a special shield around it that lets you go up and do stuff.
Space.
And space. And you literally like going around all these different planets to find clues on how to get to Eden, and then there's like a plot going on in the background. Well, it's not really in the background. It's like it's hinted at as you're going along.
Yeah.
That the Datron Corporation, who are like this big, they're basically like they had the monopoly on the galaxy.
Yeah, basically.
They make all the ships, and they're funding this war that's going on, and they're giving all the money to like the war and making sure the Longardian Empire wins against the, let me see, Draxilian Empire. Who I don't think you really see.
No, they're just spoken about in person. They even remember that name, to be honest.
No, but there's like a big war about it, and the Datron Corporation are earning money from this war. They're funding all the ships, they're getting all the weapons and stuff to make sure that the Longardian Federation wins, but they also have things going on. You go to a prison at one point, and all the people in the prison are being experimented on.
Yeah.
And they're all being like mutated and stuff because the Datron Corporation are funding it in order to do something. And then you find out later on it's because they want to make the perfect being.
Yeah, just sort of like gene splicing and stuff.
Because they scanned this thing to do with Eden. And the only way to get to Eden is by unlocking a gate, and Jasta is the key to that gate.
Yeah,
because his DNA is like he's a descendant of this person called the Star King. But you don't know that.
Yeah, that's like a big revelation later.
Yeah. And that's why he's like Jasta's all like really powerful and stuff, and the Desert Claw knew that, and he wanted him to get out because he knew the galaxy was in danger.
Yeah, so it's sort of like putting the plan into motion.
Yeah. What else? And then there's beasts that are like all the enemies in the games. They're called beasts.
Yeah.
And they are basically infected by this stuff called the rune.
Yeah, because they're like getting more like out of control on all the planets.
Yeah, it causes rapid evolution, which is what Toadie was infected with. But if they get too infected with it, it basically turns them feral.
Yeah, basically.
Basically turns them Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
And they'll like mutate them to like beyond recognition. Like you kill Toadie's brother or his friend or something, and he's like a massive boss that you fight just before you get Toadie.
Yeah.
And he's like completely mutated from just like a tiny little tree frog or something.
It's like, brother.
But that's all. What's it called? Mariglen, which is Eden, was sealed away because of what they call Mother, who is infecting the galaxy with Rune.
Yeah.
But it's still, even though they're sealed away in like some sort of like time lock.
Yeah.
The Rune is still seeping out from it and infecting all the other planets in the Wilhurster system. So you go there and you find out all this stuff and you're like, oh, ruddy heck, I better kill Mother.
I better
stop the Rune from spreading.
Mother. What was I going to say? Sorry, I just saw something. Oh yeah, Seed as well. I forgot about Seed.
Yeah, Seed's the ultimate being that they were going to make.
Yeah, that's the one.
And he looks like Jaster.
Yeah, because he wears a mask and then his mask comes off. Jaster.
It's Jaster underneath because they scanned the tablet that links to Eden, and it had like Jaster's DNA encoded into it. Well, not Jaster's DNA, it had the Starking's DNA encoded into it, but it just happened to look like Jaster. Yeah, it was his dad.
It's like, I'm proud of you, son. It's like, what?
But you have to go around to the different planets and you pick up objects that lead you to that. And so you have to basically do like what Zelda considers temples, and you go into the temples and do all these different things, and some of them are really hard.
Yeah, I remember.
But that's the overall plot of the game, is like you're basically just going around sorting out beasts and trying to get to Eden.
Yeah, it starts with like just your general adventure, but then the more you find out about the Dorgan Go plan, it's all about finding Eden, and then all the stuff that sort of happens leading up to that. Oh, what you find there? It's your mother.
Yes.
We can.
What you
find?
Mother.
It's your mother. The mother of all. We can talk about the characters more in depth. Let's talk and their names.
Yes, because I've been trying to not say their names because of the character section.
Yeah.
So there are 8 playable characters in the game, all of them with their own weapons and unique abilities.
Yeah.
And personalities. So just a rogue.
Yeah, which is like the best main character name ever.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Kasala.
Yeah.
Who is Dorgan Go's daughter.
Tika Kasala.
Tika Kasala.
She hasn't got a last name, I don't think.
No, she doesn't. Zegram something.
Yeah.
And he's basically the sort of rogue, literally, not just a rogue, but he's like the rogue agent in your crew.
Yeah.
And you find out like his girlfriend died or something, and he went to the Datron Corporation to bring her back. Yeah,
because he's very much a cross between Pirates of the Caribbean Johnny Depp and Jowdoon from Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
In terms of design. But yeah, that's the story. Sort of like.
Kasala has, Jasta has a sword and a gun. Kasala has daggers and boots.
Oh yeah, should be.
Zegram has a great sword and shurikens.
Oh yeah.
And he's a really cool character. He's very powerful, and he has this big rivalry with Jasta, but then that evolves into a big friendship as the game progresses. Because you start learning why he's doing.
Both hired for the same reason, really, because they're sort of both like.
Yeah.
Under the impression that they're both like expert hunters and stuff.
Yeah, and then they're like, oh well, Jasta's not really Desert Claw. Yeah. You find that they find that out partway through the game, and they're like, oh, lock him up.
Doesn't Zegram like know that straight away, or like has an inkling?
He has an inkling that it's not who he says he is.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't know anything about the galaxy or anything, and it's like, well, if you're the legendary hunter of the galaxy, you should know this by now.
Yeah.
Strange. Next up is Simon.
Yes. Good old Simon.
And he walks around in like it looks like a spacesuit, and he has like a mask on. And it turns out that he was caught in an explosion. And his face underneath is all like messed up, so.
Yeah, when you first see him, you're like, is that what he looks like? Is that his actual face?
He has like, I don't know what his main weapon is. It's like a mini elemental gun.
Yeah.
And then he has like rocket launchers as his.
Yeah, his rockets.
But then, like, throughout the game, you'll see it's like his family keep trying to find him, and every time you find them, they're just like, "Oh, have you seen this person?" And they're like, "Simon, have you seen him?" He's like, "No, I haven't. I don't know what you're talking about. Shut up."
Yeah. I can't remember what was the reason for that.
Because he doesn't want them to see him.
Because he's like, "Don't look at me."
It's like, yeah, basically, "Don't look at me." Because he's all burnt and like not the person that they remember.
Yeah, I'm Scottish now.
But yeah, but they're like, whenever you see them, they're like, I don't know how to explain it. They're always in the most weird places looking for Simon.
Yeah.
And they're like, you know, like when when they show like homeless people in Russia.
Yeah, like all like refugees sort of like huddled together.
Yeah, like they've got like she's got like the hood on it, and they're all kind of like monochrome as well. I kind of remember them not having that much colour to them as well. So it's like really weird whenever you found them. It's like, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, I do remember that.
And they were just there everywhere that you didn't want them to be.
He just been there, like, what are they doing here? This random cave.
Like, why are they in like these ruins that I've just come here to?
They were like sealed for centuries.
Yeah.
Already inside. Oh yeah, Steve.
Next up is Steve. Yeah.
Who's a robot.
He is a robot, and he uses fists as a weapon, and then he has like two little turrets that float around him.
Yes, he does.
And he's all like proper.
Yeah, he's the C3PO who can fight.
Yeah, he's just like, he calls Shasta Mr. Rogue.
That's right, right, Mr. Rogue.
And it turns out that he's oh yeah, that's like, I just remembered that.
Dr. Pikachu.
Yeah, Dr. Pikachu, and he's got like the soul of his son inside him.
Yeah, that was it. Forgot about that.
Like Steve has the soul of like this little kid inside him, because Dr. Pikachu put it in it so that because this kid died.
Yeah.
And he basically wanted, it's not like his soul, it's like a digital version of his son.
Yeah,
but it's basically his
an
soul.
imprint of his memory or something.
And he wants him to experience the galaxy and all these things.
Mm-hmm.
But something happens and the kid ends up like dying.
Yeah.
But then, like in the, I think it's in the ending, like Steve gets put into a real boy's body or something. It's like, what's
God,
going
I
on?
can't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
No, Steve's a fantastic character. He's
Steve
just
is
like,
fantastic.
he's just, it's the fact, first of all, that he's called Steve.
Oh no, he's just called Steve.
And that obviously Simon as well. They're just like standard names. They're not like anything else that's in the game. There's Simon and Steve.
Yeah.
And Clarky told me that Steve's like a big thing in level 5 games, but I think it's just literally like Dark Cloud and Dark Chronicle. There's like a character called Steve in there somewhere.
Yeah.
Who is also a robot.
That's funny. We did say this was like originally maybe going to be Dark Cloud 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
So that makes sense to continue in that tradition.
Then we had Lilica.
Yeah.
Who is basically a huntress from the planet Juraika.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's sort of like your native sort of character on the planet. She's like a jungle planet. Yeah.
And she has a bow as her main weapon, and then she has a hatchet as her sub-weapon.
Yeah.
And she's like a very angry character.
Yeah, she is.
Like when you meet her, she's very angry. And it turns out that she's like, she blames herself for her mom dying and her sister going blind.
Oh yeah.
And her sister's going to be sacrificed.
Yeah,
it's all depressing. She doesn't want her sister to be sacrificed, but they're like, because of this beast, this creepy looking like giant spider thing that's made of worms or something, is going around infecting the jungle, and killing off the Bakakwans, as they're called. the tribe that Lilica's a part of. They're like, oh, we're gonna have to sacrifice her, to sacrifice your sister because she's like the youngest pure maiden, in order to appease the Sun King or something.
Yeah, something like that, the Sun King.
And they're like, oh, well, you can't do that. And they're all really angry because you're getting involved in their
customs.
traditions, their customs, and it's just like, no. And then Lilica stands against it, so they're like, oh well, you're out of the tribe now, get out.
Yeah.
But they want Lilica to go so that she can grow and understand the ways of the galaxy and stuff, so rather than be stuck in the stuffy ways of the Bakakuan tribe.
Oh, Andrew, tell him. Absolutely dunking on these native people. Stop sacrificing people and get an iPhone. Said Andrew, barging in.
Because they like literally, they've got no technology. They will not allow technology on the planet. And if anyone, there's like 3 people that you see as you're going along who obsessed with technology, and they help you get through to the Bakakwa village.
Yeah.
In some form, and they were outcast because they love technology.
Yeah, that's right. They were considered like eccentric and stuff.
Yes, and they're just like, oh no, look, this is a bomb. Just like,
oh, look at this, it's great, blows up. Like, I'm just gonna leave now.
So just gonna get out of here. I think just go back to the gameplay and stuff though for a quick second. The planets were really long.
They were huge. Considering it was like a linear game. It was sort of like 12 where it had like lots of branching paths, big areas, and you could just go in different directions with to explore. And
then you had you'd have to go back to a lot of the planets as well.
Yeah.
To do another part of the story, which was really interesting.
Yeah, that's right. She went back to Rosa, didn't you, when you were looking for the tablets and whatever.
Yeah.
And there's more you could explore when you went to Rosa as well. Yes. Next character is Digo Aegis.
Yes, Digo Aegis.
He takes ages.
And he was a dog.
He was a
dog man.
He was a dogman. He was Digo Aegis Dogman.
Was he? Was he a Doberman? No, he wasn't a Doberman. What was he?
Like a rot. No.
Yeah, Rottweiler maybe.
Sort of like it was a dog like that.
Yeah.
He was a former elite soldier for the Long Guardian Army. He has a robotic arm.
Yes.
And he infiltrated the galaxy.
He was the one who tells you that there's 12 planets in the Wilhurster system.
Yeah. That's his role.
And yeah, and he was like, he's a drunkard.
Yeah.
Because he was just sort of like, oh well, I'm just here to drink now that I can't fight in the war. And his best friend Gale, like, started working for the mafia basically.
Yeah.
And Digo decides to help you get into the mine so you can get so you can find the tablet that has Josh's DNA all over it.
That's disgusting.
I know.
Just to stop it.
It's sad, like this image of like Jasta just like, you know, like when a dog wants to like rub itself all over like the carpet.
Just like rubbing his face along it, like dragging
it's just like rolling all over the tablet.
No, stop it, Jasta. Down.
Stop it, just get spray bottles.
Just hisses and runs off. So yeah, that's Digo.
Oh well, you might get some drill sounds on this audio now, Daniel, because next door being selfish.
It's fine, don't worry. I'll replace it with Digo's barking.
He has a giant axe.
Yes,
as a weapon, and then he has like turrets on his arm, so you'll either have rockets or you'll have a machine gun.
Yeah. I don't really like Digo. I like the fact that they do just like ridiculous, like it's just the fact he was a dog.
Yeah, that's what I really liked about the cast. Like, they're not all human characters.
Yeah, it was sort of like non-human, but like it wasn't. It was sort of like
it was humanoid.
It was sort of like Ghibli-esque the way they were like they just have a dog person, and that was just like a species, and it was really true.
Yeah. And the last character is Jupis Tuki Maganal.
Jupis Tuki Maganal.
He's a I think it's a Granchi.
Yeah, Granchi, isn't it?
And they're basically like they're kind of like I can't remember the name of the dinosaur, but they're basically like little lizard people.
That's him right now coming through the wall.
Can you hear that?
I heard that one. Yeah.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Pain in the ass. Ruined it.
Just go quiet when it drills, and I'll put it on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a.
You might be able to like. I'll show you how to do it later. Yeah, he had a spear and he had like a little like a pouch full with discs.
That's right. Mini discs.
Mini discs, and he'd throw them, and he was basically like the joke. He was basically like the queen of Rogue Galaxy.
Yes. He was a former scientist.
Yeah, he was a former scientist. He was a former scientist that got he was supposed to do something really important, and then he did it wrong, and his assistant threw coffee all over the machine rather than just like telling him.
Yeah.
That's Jupus now. He threw coffee all over the machine and got Jupus fired, and then Jupus decided that he was going to take over the factory to get his job back. And you go in there to basically take Jupus down, and then when you find him, he has a giant robot called Johnny.
That's like the name of that robot's just like regular names.
Yeah, and he does the line.
Go on.
Here's Johnny. And here's a clip of him doing it.
Yeah, he was.
He's got like the most randomest abilities, but they're fantastic.
Yeah. He was very much a comedy character. Go on.
He was, but he was one of my favorite. He was like one of my favorite characters because he's just like ridiculous and like
he
I
really
can play as him. He gets like coffee boost or something, and he'll just it just shows him sat on a chair, and he'll just like sniff some coffee, and it boosts everyone's attack in the
Stat boost.
And he gets like yo-yo abilities where he spins around and gets like electrocutes all the enemies with his yo-yo.
Of course.
As you do.
Yeah. I forgot he had discs.
Yeah. And he throws like 3 of them at a time as well. It's interesting though, because you get Jupus before you get Digo, but you don't get to use Jupus until after you've got Digo.
Yeah, it's weird that.
You get Jupus and Zorad, and then you do the whole of Verdan, and then once you've done Verdan, you can go. You get to use Jupus. Because you go to Verdan and they force you to use Jasta and Kasala.
Yeah.
And then Digo joins up with you.
Yes.
And they all have an ability, and I've forgotten the name of it. Should have wrote this down, but it's fine. It's like a big combo ability, and like it's basically like their form of a limit break.
Yeah.
And you can what's it called? I can't remember.
Is it Burning Strike?
Yes, Burning Strike.
There you go. I've got it
and it'll pop up, and like a combo will appear, and you have to hit the buttons at the right time in order to do it. And then it'll, like there's 3 levels to it, so once you get to the last level, it's like a 9-hit combo that does ridiculous damage.
Yeah, it's just all
and
combos
all
together.
of them are so good, like when you see them. And that just adds to their character as well, because it makes everyone unique, and then none of them are the same. Like none of them play the same.
No, they don't. They're all dual. Because they each have 2 weapons. They're all like. I mean, some have like projectiles, but they're all different. And then the abilities based on them are all different.
Like Zegrim, like he throws his shuriken, but he throws it so fast you can like basically just like hit square really fast, and he'll do it really quick. Whereas like even though Jupus has discs, which are basically sort of like the shurikens, he'll throw them kind of slow, but he'll throw 3 of them at the same time and they'll hone in on the enemy.
Yeah. Yeah, because it makes you want to like play each one then, because like I said before, you can swap which playable character you main.
Yeah.
And then you can just sort of like experiment with all abilities like first hand by playing them instead of just them being your party members, which is really cool.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's like a really minor thing. I wish there was at least 1 more character.
Why?
Just because for OCD reasons, because you can't take Jasta off your team.
Yeah.
And you can switch like 2 characters out at a time, but then there's like the last one. There's always like one who will join up with another character, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That you've already used. And like certain characters work really well together, and they'll get specific abilities, like they'll get double text with a different character.
Yeah.
So they work really well together. But like all of them, like there's no character that I don't like in Rogue Galaxy. I think Simon's the hardest to use.
Yeah, I think I remember him being quite difficult.
But he's still a really good character, and he gets weird abilities as well.
I mean, it's because he feels quite unwieldy, don't you, the way he attacks and stuff.
Yeah. And because he has like basically like he gets like flamethrowers or ice machines or and weird stuff, so you kind of feel like you have to be at a distance, but it makes it hard taking out like an enemy that you have to jump at to attack.
Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky.
I'm pretty sure you can. I know you can swap weapons in battle and stuff, but I think you can actually get into the actual main menu and switch your party around.
Yeah.
Because there's like instances where you'll get into a battle and they'll be like, oh, use Steve, but you don't have Steve on your team, so you have to go in the main menu and switch Steve into your party.
Menu. I've saw that before.
Yeah. But Daniel, who would you say your favorite character is?
Favorite character? Ooh. I really like Digo. Digo, I remember using him a lot. Digo and Zekrom. Zekrom?
Yeah. No, not the Pokemon, Daniel.
Zekrom! He looks a bit different. He's got facial hair. But like character-wise, I really like Simon and Steve.
Yeah.
Because of their R2-D2 C-3PO dynamic.
Yeah.
I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed that. For the
bants.
For the bants. For the sheer bants. But Jupiter's obviously for the comedy relief as well.
Yeah, Jupiter's is
just ridiculous.
Yeah. He likes the way his voice is as well. He talks kind of like, I don't know, not nasally, but he has like a really screechy voice when he
Yeah, he does. He like panics and stuff.
Yeah.
It's really good. Really.
He has like a love-hate relationship with Lilica.
Yes, because he's like a scientist and she's like technology. Shakes fist.
Yeah, and you need like when they do like the suggestion system. They'll whoever you're playing as is like the main character as your playable character. They'll say the name of that character.
Yeah.
So like, and then like when Steve comes in, he's like Mr. Rogue or something. Well, then when with Jupiter to Lilica, if you're playing as Lilica, it'll be like Bakakwa girl.
Girl.
It's like Bakakwa girl. It's like what? What did you say?
It's made a noise like chicken.
Ow.
Alright, it's outraged. Pummel aside, but yeah. Also, there was a few characters on the ship as well.
Yeah, there was. Yeah, Captain Dorgangoa.
Yeah.
There was Munsha. Was it Munsha?
Possibly, I saw that name before. Is that the cat?
It was a cat. Yeah, the cat.
Just a cat who talks.
I fucking lost it like the first time I saw that.
Yeah, because as soon as you get on the ship.
You get on the ship and he's like the first person that talks to you. And he goes, so you're Desert Claw, like really loud, and it cuts around and you just see this cat like on two legs just like looking at you, and it's like bloody hell.
I know, you just can't deal with any of it. Oh god.
Then there's all the Datron people. There's Valcog, who's like this.
Yeah, Valcog, that was it.
He's like the owner of the Datron Corporation. He has there's a scientist that I've forgotten the name of, but he's your typical evil scientist.
Classic evil scientist.
Classic. And then I think he's got like an assistant called Norma. I want to say it's Norma. It's like his secretary, but she's like really evil.
Yeah.
And she like goes around getting people involved in their business sort of thing, and screwing them over.
Yeah.
Was it not? I think it is Norma.
Naughty Norma.
Yeah.
It's just,
and then and once you kill Mother, like it's completely batshit insane. Because like the rune is basically alive.
Yeah.
And it pulls their ship into the rune and fuses those three, like the scientist, Norma and Valcog, to it.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
That was the last boss.
That was
like
the
a
last
giant
boss. I remember them being like joined to it.
Yeah, like they were part of it. and it was all like messed up and like really creepy.
Yeah, I remember being really weird.
What I really liked about that was like you had to use every character against the last boss.
Yeah.
Like on their own as well, so it made it really hard. Like each one had like their own section.
Yeah,
the boss, and you had to use them to take it down. But yeah, like the last bit of it was like Jaster in his Star God form, and it was just like Valcog's face on the front of the ship.
Yes, I remember a ship having a face on it.
Yeah. It's like a really creepy concept as well.
Yeah.
And it's just like out of nowhere because you're like, oh yeah, they're now here.
They are. They really are here.
And then they get pulled into the rune and it just like mutates them and it's really creepy, but it's so good.
Yeah, it gets really weird towards the end. Yeah, those are the characters.
Yeah.
But those characters, Andrew, have graphics. Let's explain those graphics right now. Seamless, that was. That was really seamless.
Those characters have graphics.
And speaking of graphics, actually, we're on to the graphics section. So, yes.
Well, Daniel briefly mentioned this earlier, but it's cel-shaded.
It is
cel-shaded style.
It was called, level 5 referred to the technique as tonal rendering.
Ooh.
Because they mixed cel-shaded 3D graphics for the characters and then regular detailed for the backgrounds.
Yes,
which is true. For the Cloud, the Dark series.
Yes. Oh, they did. Which one? Yeah, I played. Well, I didn't finish the first one.
I played any of them, but I've seen a bit of them.
Yeah, I played Dark Cloud, and I started Dark Chronicle, but I didn't get far into Dark Chronicle.
No.
Because it's really hard. But Dark Cloud, I got very close to finishing the game, and the way that game worked, just throwing this in there real quick, is you powered up your weapons, and you could upgrade your weapons kind of like in Rogue Galaxy, so there's another reference to it being very similar, and it possibly being a Dark Cloud 3. But if it broke, that was it, you didn't get it back.
Yeah.
And I got to an enemy and I broke my most powerful weapon and all my other weapons were like really weak and I was like, okay, I'm not finishing this then.
It's all bloody hell screams up.
And I think it like auto-saved as well.
Oh,
so,
God.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah, it has a very unique, I'd say it has a very unique look to it, especially because like all the planets are really different as well. None of them are the same.
Yeah. You've got like every sort of biome.
Yeah.
Apart from like maybe there isn't an ice planet, is there?
No.
It's probably one of the only things they don't have.
But, no, you have like the futuristic city, you have the desert that's full with ruins, and then you have like the jungle planet, which is also filled. They all have ruins on it.
They all got ruins somewhere.
And then you have Verdan, which is like a mining planet, and then it has I guess it'd be like the back alleys of New York sort of thing, you know, like it has like the steam coming out of the vents on the floor, and it's all run down.
Yeah, it's been taken over by like the mafia.
Yeah. And then you have Mariglen, which is all like beautiful and pristine. There's like a forest in it, but it's all messed up because of Mother. And then you have Alistia.
Yeah, which is the tropical resort plan.
The trouble, it only opens like for people to go and take a vacation every so often or something. But once it's open, you can go there as many times as you want. It doesn't like close for you. But it's covered in fish people.
Not just fish people, Andrew. There's a whole host of sea life.
Yeah.
Literally every sort of.
And we're not talking like a mermaid. There is a mermaid style race in it. They're like split into two different races.
Yeah.
The mermals and the something. But it's like literally, like Diego is a dog man.
Yeah.
These people are quite literally
a fish in like a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like, well then some of them like one of them's like a shark man, one of them's like a dolphin man. But then you have people that like are literally just like a person, but then all of a sudden like their head is just like a fish placed on top of it. It's so jarring when you see it.
It really is. It's like, because it's like towards the end of the game as well, so you're building up to this big climactic finale, and then you go there.
And it's like a side story that's going on there and stuff. But like, it's a beautiful planet, and like, it really fits the theme of the tonal, whatever Daniel said.
Yeah, the tonal. I don't know, is it tonal?
I was gonna say tonal shift, but it's not tonal shift.
It's not. Tonal rendering.
Yeah, tonal rendering.
There you go. Yeah, but yeah, very unique, very cool.
Yeah.
Because it makes the characters stand out as well from the background.
It does, yeah. It makes the characters stand out. And it feels like, especially because like all the worlds feel lived in as well.
Yeah.
They all have their lore, they all have their history, and yeah, it captures the Star Wars feel to it.
I like the UI as well. Sorry.
Yes, the UI. Go on.
I was going to say the UI because the UI is like really simple. It's sort of cartoony as well. But it means like everything's really clear. You can see everything's like really simply. And it's not, doesn't feel like cluttered and messy. It's just all like, it's just really nice.
Yeah, no, the characters have like their health at the bottom and stuff during battle, but then when you're not in battle, it's not there, so it's not constantly on the screen.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's like literally just says like a picture of the character, their health, their stamina bar, HP, and AP.
Yeah.
And it covers like a really small section of the screen. And then even then the menu, like when you press triangle to get into like the menu, it's really simple. It's like a little box with like a couple of options.
Yeah.
And then the actual menu, that I always really like that. That was always simple. And it was kind of like, I don't know what it was supposed to be. I think it was supposed to be like a porthole.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was like a porthole thing.
And that was very nice.
Yeah, it was just very cool. Very simple. I really liked it. Really liked it. Because it's sort of like, it gives the impression if you like, sort of people who like super realistic graphics and be put off by it, it's sort of like, you might think it's like childish, but it's just really simple and just like, it's just nice. Simple is good.
Yes.
Don't overcomplicate things. It doesn't need to be.
Do that. Do the eponymous Kingdom Hearts song.
Simple and uncomplicated.
Yeah.
I love that song. But yeah, from graphics to difficulty.
Oh, now then. This game's very hard. I'm not gonna lie.
It's funny because it has a sort of, it does have that Dragon Quest vibe where it's very easy to sort of get into.
Yeah.
But then it's very hard to sort of master and it gets difficult the more you get into it.
Yeah, it does. It's not like, I mean, I'd say it's very hard, and the only reason I say that is because you can get wiped out really quick if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Like enemies aren't too bad, and like when you level up when you finish a battle, you get experience items. I think it's called Zenny or something in the money.
Yeah, Zenny. That's Zenny. That sounds familiar.
But if for the 3 characters in your team, they'll get the same amount of experience, but then the other 5 characters, like once you get all the characters off, they'll get half the experience. So anyone in reserve gets half the experience they would if they were in the main battle.
Yeah.
So they do level up with you.
Mm-hmm.
They just won't level up as quick. And there's obviously like the hunts and stuff. They're really powerful and they take a long time to take down. So you have to be prepared for long battles.
Yeah.
And some of the bosses, like, you will just get wiped out.
Just really powerful enemies, and like I said before, the challenges as well.
Yeah, like there's challenges, and then there's mimics.
Yes, there is.
That are just in random chests that, if you're not careful, they will murder you.
Yeah, good old mimics.
They come out and they can like stun you. They can just like breathe fire at you, and they just like it just kills you.
Yeah.
Like the first time I found one, I died. Yeah.
Yeah.
They take less damage as well, which makes it even harder.
Yeah, they're really defensive. It's like I can't deal with this stress right now.
Bloody hell! Oh, and you can always tell which is a mimic chest because it's got a brown lock on it.
Yeah, which is good once you know.
Yeah, because I didn't know that until you told me, and I was just opening every chest that I could find.
Yeah, that sounds like something I do, to be honest. I can't remember doing that. It's usually like something you tell me, and I'm just there like waiting.
But it is worth fighting them.
Yeah, do you get like super like experience or AP from it?
I think you get good experience, and you get like a really good item from it, and you get a lot of money.
Yeah.
And then you get a Hunter's Coin as well, and you use the Hunter's Coins to you get a license from the Galaxy Corporation.
Yeah.
And like once you get a certain number of Hunter's Coins, you get like the silver license and the gold license and the platinum license or something, and it like gives you discounts and stuff at shops.
Yeah, it upgrades some of the more Hunter points you get, so you can get discounts, which is really cool.
But overall, like it is a pretty difficult game. Like I said, there's no healing abilities in the game, so if you've got no items, you're screwed.
Yeah, you've got to really sort of adapt to how it works, because obviously it's sort of more of an action-y game, action RPG, more than like
yeah, they did. Even though it's obviously it's like sci-fi, it's still fantasy. It's very much on the less magical side of it, even though there's like magical sort of abilities in the game, yeah. And there's like this element of fantasy too, like with the Star God or the Star King and stuff.
Yeah.
And Jasta being like the descendant of him and stuff. It's just like, but it's very futuristic, so they kind of pulled it back with like in terms of abilities and just being able to heal.
Yeah. So you've got to make sure you're really stocked up.
Yeah, you got to make sure you got stocked up all the time and make sure you got like resurrection elixirs and stuff all the time. Because I think you can only I don't know why I've got that in my head. I was going to say you can only carry 20 of each item.
I think so. I think it's something like that. Yeah.
I think it is.
I'm looking at menu right now and it's got 20 of some. So
yeah.
It feels like that's the max.
So it's like, yeah, it's like you, excuse me, you will be buying a lot of them, and then you might be buying a lot of weapons. And just making sure you upgrade them as well. And it's like, it does like make it very difficult, but it makes it enjoyable. It's not like Dark Souls.
No. No, it's also like, they don't, as much as it can be hard to rely on items, they are quite generous throwing like potions at you and stuff like.
Yeah.
You will give you like, you will know when you find the boss, because you'll start finding those potions and stuff from those.
Yeah, and you will, every time you go to a save point, you do heal.
Yeah. So it's you know, I mean, if you just played it through for the story, I reckon you probably have a decent challenge, but you wouldn't like be probably too stuck.
No.
You just sort of like, I think it's easy to get stuck if you sort of like, because we're like used to sort of like traditional RPGs, JRPGs.
Yeah.
So like, when you put some more action ones, it can kind of throw us a bit. But once you get into the ebb and flow of it, you get to know how everything works. It's alright. It's not too hard, I don't think.
Yeah, like especially like when you suddenly enemies pop up that you can't attack normally, and they're like really powerful. There's like these weird volcano enemies, and you have to jump at them to attack them. But then they'll like basically do like an eruption attack, which goes all around them.
Yeah,
and it can wipe you out really quick.
I remember attacks like that, because you'd be just trying to get close to it, and then they just do an area
and
effect.
It makes it hard as well, especially like because you'd be like, say, a lot of the time you probably are playing as Jasta.
Yeah, most of the time you will be.
And then you'll be like, okay, well I want to switch to Steve, but then Steve might not be good at doing the jump and attacking, that sort of thing.
And like so the control different, and you're like,
yeah, they all attack at different speeds and all that sort of stuff. So you got to take that into consideration, because there's a boss that's really annoying in the game, and that is Gale, Digo's friend.
Yeah.
And you have to fight him, and he has 2 pistols, and he'll constantly shoot you. And the only time you can attack him is when he's reloaded.
Yeah. It's really frustrating.
And you can get like killed like really quick, and if you don't have the items for it, then it's just like, okay, great. And you only have Digo in that battle as well. You can't, you don't have anyone else.
Yeah, it's really annoying. That is.
And so I'm just saying the drill going.
I didn't hear that one.
The drill feels like it's just like. I'm just like.
I'm not picking up too much. But yeah, I reckon it's not too hard.
Yeah.
Difficulty-wise.
It's definitely a challenge.
It's because it's like a unique hybrid of styles of game. So
yeah, it's like it's not something that you'd normally expect. Like I can't think of it. Probably the closest thing to it is the Old Republic.
Yeah.
Knights of the Old Republic. In terms of like the style of game it is, it's like a fantasy game and set in the future.
Yeah.
Sci-fi series, so you can go to different planets and stuff.
Yeah,
in terms of just like the general premise of it, but like story, gameplay wise, it's very different.
Well, that is RPG, but also you're attacking, so it's like it's not.
Yeah.
It's quite simple. But yeah. Final section kind of is the soundtrack. We're going to talk about the music, Andrew.
Oh, what an absolute bop of a soundtrack.
What an absolute bop is.
Absolutely gorgeous soundtrack, Daniel. I rate it 10 out of 10 otters.
10 out of 10 otters. To save that for the end, Andrew. But Andrew rates
Daniel.
it.
Well, that's the soundtrack.
I've just booted a poster tube over, hang on.
Have you? Well, that's really selfish of you. That's going to, like, an orphan in
Papua New Guinea.
Alaska.
Yeah, sure. Close enough.
I always get confused between Alaska and Papua New Guinea.
They're very similar, you see. In name and the location.
But all the music fits the locations. Like when you're on Rosa, the music is very sort of... It does fit the desert theme of it, and then you go to these different areas, and it makes you feel like... There's a section where you're running through the desert, and it's like a guitar, like a acoustic guitar. And it does really suit that area, because it's just sort of like... Really feels like you're trudging through the desert.
Yeah.
It's like, oh god. And there's also like all these dead people everywhere.
Oh god, I gotta play this guitar.
Like, no, please, no more guitar. They just slit their throats. And then you go to Bukakwa and it sounds very jungle-y. There's like the sound effects for it are very jungle-like.
Yeah. I'd say it's really good at nailing the feel of each location.
Yeah. One of my favourite soundtracks in the game is, I've forgotten the name of the location. It's, the finding the Cancer King's relic, and you go in underneath Verdan into like the sewer way,
Yeah.
or the waterway, and it's like all sounds. It's that again is acoustic guitar, but it's got like all this watery sounds in the background as well. And it's like, oh, this is beautiful.
Oh, tickling down the strings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down my strings.
And also there's like quite a few little jazzy numbers in there as well. Like on the ship
There
and
is.
stuff.
Like you go on the ship and it's all like. Daniel, you're being arrested.
I know. You're under arrest. That's enough of that. That's enough jazz. It's a jazz police.
It's like da-da-da.
It's just gone blasting through the door. Yeah, the jazzy bits. And I think, was it the mining planet was a bit jazzy? I can't remember.
And I think there was some sort of jazz on the.
He might have just been in the bar as more like during his scenes.
It sounded. Well, I can't remember like the main theme of Verdan, but it might have been the same. But I just remember it being like the mines being like typical mine music. So I think I don't know how to explain mine music.
It's your classic mine music.
Yeah, that famous like genre of music. Mine music.
When you're mining, get the mine music on. That's what you do.
Yeah.
But no, very good. It's weirdly, as much as I like it, it's a soundtrack I don't really enjoy outside of the game as much. There's a few tracks I'll listen to and I'm like, oh yeah, I really like this. But I feel like it doesn't have as much outside of the game appeal as some soundtracks do. But that's just my personal preference. I
listen to it a lot, but that's because it's just on my iPod.
Yeah, I have listened to quite a bit, but it's not up there as some of my favourite.
Yeah,
Personally.
I think you're right though. Like it's something that unless you've played the game sort of, not even like semi-recently, but if you've been through it a few times and stuff, it probably hits more than, because you only ever went through it once.
Yeah.
And like when you see those locations within the game, you're like, oh yeah, that's that music, and it really sort of hits home and it really fits that location. But when you just sort of listening to it randomly outside of the game, it's not something that catches you, like say it's like Final Fantasy VII, and you're like, yeah, Final Fantasy VII, I know that. What about? This isn't good. And you're then, like doing some drum and bass to Aerith.
I just bop into it, getting stabbed. Oh, it's the stab music. Get in the club right now. Get some tunes on. It's really weird with me though, because I can listen to like soundtracks from games I've never played and just really enjoy them as soundtracks, and I have no context. In some games,
Daniel,
I've played the game, and I won't listen to soundtracks as much. And I guess Rogue is one of those for me.
It's because Daniel, you're selfish. No,
no, I'm beautiful. But yeah, I do enjoy it. I do enjoy the soundtrack. Definitely
he enjoys it, but more in game.
More in game for me. Andrew just
Yeah. Just for that, I'm gonna listen to the entire soundtrack after we finish recording.
I'll spy. I was listening to it the other day when I was looking at footage for it. I was just listening. I was like, oh yeah, this is a bot. I remember this one.
I remember this jazzy number.
This jazzy number and the police get him again. Oh, I think that, Andrew, it's a good time to end with our last thoughts about the game.
Yeah. Go on.
What are your last thoughts about the game? My last thoughts about a game. I think it's criminally overrated. No, it's really not.
What the hell, Daniel?
It's underrated. It's fucking overrated, pal. Just like go on for like over an hour about how good it is, and just at the end, just like it's so overrated. No, it's really underrated because it came out at a really unfortunate time.
Yeah.
In the West, at least. It was overshadowed in general by Final Fantasy XII. And I guess just the general vibe of people not playing on PS2 anymore, really.
Yeah, I do know what I read about it earlier is that they made it to be on par with Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest and stuff.
Yes, I read that on the wiki, yeah.
Yeah, and it's just like, and it didn't sell 1 million copies, so Sony were like, screw you! It's like, oh, shut up.
It's sad, really, because it's a unique thing. People didn't take as much chance on it. They just saw it and it's like, well, I don't recognise that name. I'm not invested. But obviously, like established series are just naturally going to do well. Maybe if it had been like Dark Cloud 3 or something and just gone in the drastic direction.
But even then, Dark Cloud wasn't that popular.
It was a niche thing, but at least then it's a series people would have known. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it was
then you had like Ni no Kuni, which was like sold really well, and like not a lot of people knew what that was outside of because it was originally on 3DS, and then they updated it to the PS3 and stuff. Like a lot of people didn't realize it was already a game that had come out.
I feel like Ni no Kuni had an advantage because it had the Ghibli connection.
Yeah, definitely.
Which definitely helped it, at least with the first game.
Yeah,
for sure. Which definitely got people's attention. But yeah, Rogue Galaxy, a very underappreciated gem of a game, and probably one of the best JRPGs I've ever played. Action JRPGs, definitely. It's right up there. It has everything that we like in an RPG.
Yeah, it does. I want to play it now, Daniel.
Well, you should. You'll get that, Andrew. You'll play it.
Yeah. Or maybe I'll do it on a Let's Play.
That'd be fantastic.
Well, pro stream, not a Let's Play, because I've been there for years.
You would do, but it'd be the best time you've ever had.
Yeah, it would actually, to be honest. I actually like... Well, not spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. When I first started my channel, I did start recording a Rogue Galaxy Let's Play, and then... I was like, okay, well, this is going to take me forever, so I didn't continue it. I only got like 3 episodes into it.
It's fair. You just have to do sort of all sort of grindy stuff off thing just to give you a little help with that.
And I was like, I'm not a big enough channel to really show this off right now.
Yeah, you get it, Andrew. You're doing really well. But yeah, potentially in the future, Andrew will be covering this game and it'll be beautiful.
Yeah.
And it's one of Andrew's favourite games. So.
Yeah, it is one of my favourite games of all time.
If you haven't been able to notice it the last hour.
It's weird. It's really weird because like you wouldn't expect it to be like based on all the other games that I play. But I do love my space.
I feel like it falls in between, like in terms of like a game, it falls in between like Kingdom Hearts and Final Fantasy quite well, and then does enough of its own thing to be quite different from both.
Yes, I agree, Daniel.
So I think it's a really good niche, unfortunately niche title. But if you love JRPGs, you should definitely play it. But
it is available on the PlayStation Store.
It's on the PS3 or PS4?
PS4.
Oh, nice. I might download it myself, Andrew, because I've got enough games to play.
I have it on the PS. The only issue is that it has a bit of a couple of graphical issues when emulating on like the PS4 and PS5, but...
Yes, whatever. At least you can get to play it. It's good. That's the main thing.
Yes, it is.
I'm surprised it's even on there, to be honest. You know what PlayStation...
I know, I am as well.
For bloody giving you backwards compatible games and stuff on there.
Yeah.
Hey, that's some discussion for another time. Thank you for joining us for our absolute gush fest on one of our favourite JRPG games, Rogue Galaxy. Hopefully, I'll try and get Andy to record more of these with me because I enjoy these ones, and we don't get to do them very often.
No, well, the same as the last one we did was probably like 4 years ago.
It was golden until back in the day. But yeah, we'll try and get doing more. And hear about our favourite games reviewed in a biased fashion.
Wasn't one of them, like, didn't we record one of them down in my dining room?
Yeah, Chrono Trigger. I don't know why we did it in your dining room. I honestly don't know why we did it there.
I think it's because my setup wasn't that good at the time.
Yeah, we needed like the light, so we just like did it. Sat at the table. It's a good time. But yeah, Andrew, promote yourself.
Drew Gamer at Drew Gamer.
On YouTube.
On all social medias. YouTube,
medias.
Twitch.
I'll post a link in the description for Andrew's channel. Go and sub.
Biff.
His thing.
Go and suck.
Go and suck. Go and subscribe. And yeah, and also if you've just happened upon this video, don't forget to subscribe to my video, my channel, for more of these sorts of videos. Give the video a like, comment, and tell us what you think of this game if you have played it. We'd love to hear about it. And we'll see you next time.
Bye everyone.
Bye bye.